After World War II and through the 60s, downtown Oakland was a thriving part of the city, as well it should be. It's downtown. But from 1968 through the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, as manufacturing businesses left Oakland, it became harder to develop buildings in downtown Oakland without the involvement of the government, and that meant government money. Today, we're seeing the development of a new Oakland with private sector investment, unaided by the government, building new projects like 1100 Broadway by SKS Investments. To get a closer look at what's happening in downtown Oakland today, I talked to two people: Oakland Planning Commissioner Michael Colbruno and Paul Stein, who is the managing partner of SKS Investments. Michael Colbruno, you're chair of the Oakland Planning Commission and with Clear Channel Outdoor as well.
Correct.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Hey, let's walk and talk about downtown Oakland.
Love to do it.
Michael, you've been around for a long time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a survivor.
Well, yeah, that makes two of us. I think I said 74 for me. But what have you seen in Oakland? And I know that I've been paying attention to 1100 Broadway.
Right.
What have you seen that caused a building like that to come out where it's just privately financed?
Well, I think what you're starting to see is, I think it started during the Jerry Brown years, where, you know, he was very active in convincing people that, you know, Oakland was the great investment in the Bay Area.
Right.
That we had the land, we had a lot of existing beautiful structures, and that we kind of were really part of San Francisco. That was actually, you could have your employees live here cheaper, you could pay less per square footage, and we have all these beautiful resources. We have the Bay, we have Lake Merritt, we have the parks. You know, one could argue we have just as good a golf courses and tennis courses. So there was this great place to live, and I think he got people over here and looking at Oakland and excited about Oakland. Clearly they're not excited about our sports teams right now, so it's something, right? Something's
Our sports
working,
teams
right?
have to do better.
Hey, you know, we'll get there, you know?
They have to do
it's,
a lot better.
one thing at a time. So I think that's what started to happen. You got to appreciate, as we're walking into City Center,
right,
you know, the people who initially invested and believed in downtown Oakland and said, you know, this is a great place. This is vibrant down here. You come down here now during the day, it's packed for lunch, there's concerts, there's activity going on. Come down here as we're heading down to Broadway Street, where there's a lot of new stuff that's going to be happening on Broadway, which I'd be happy to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the growth from City Center, where we are right now, has gone in all directions. It's so exciting. Yeah. Shorenstein, who now controls City Center, brand new high-rise going in over there.
Yeah, it looks like the model that I saw as an intern when I was with the Oakland Redevelopment Agency. I was like, wait a minute, it's the model writ large, you know?
Yep, there you have it. And it's right next to a building that we're in, which is the Shorenstein building. That's a gorgeous building.
Sure is.
Packed. There's not 1 square foot of space that's not leased. So there's some really amazing stuff that's going on. So you're talking about office vacancies around the country. I just saw some horrifying numbers for Houston and New Orleans. And cities that we think of vibrant cities that have huge office vacancy, and we're building.
Yeah.
And we're full, and we're leased up. And so there's exciting stuff. There's a few problems, and here's a good example. This is the old Gap store right here.
I remember that space over there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I have a hunch
this is a scoop.
That we're going to see some exciting name brand businesses and retail coming to downtown Oakland. So what SKS did down here is they took this old key system building, which has been empty and dilapidated for decades, and has preserved it and incorporated it with a new, beautiful, modern building with, I have to say, this gorgeous skin on it. It is just, it is a sensuous building. It is going to be one of those buildings that you will identify with downtown Oakland.
Paul Stein, you are the developer of 1100 Broadway. Tell me, how did the project come to be?
Well, we were contacted by Swinnerton and Wahlberg, contractor who we'd done a lot of work with, and they ended up with a site that they had acquired through perfecting a mechanics lien. They were building the hotel, who defaulted on their, they'd driven a lot of piles and hadn't paid the subs, so Swinnerton foreclosed on it and asked us if we were interested. So I hopped on BART and started walking around downtown Oakland and the site and got very excited about it.
As we're talking about it, my viewers are seeing these artist renditions of the building. It's a beautiful structure. How did that design come about? What's the inspiration?
Well, the architect who had been working on the site is KMD, Capital Laughlin Diaz, who we know, and they're a very fine firm. And the notion behind the design was not to engage in faux historicism, but to actually juxtapose a very modern, high-tech, if you want, very glassy structure next to the old historic, it's a Beaux-Art building.
In a sense, echoes the PL building.
In some sense, and if you look at the rhythm of the east side of Broadway, you have old mixed with new, and there's a real rhythm, tall, short, tall, short. And if you look at 1330, which is almost a Lever House knockoff, for want of a better word,
right.
It's very much modern in the context of some of the older buildings. So the thought was to do something that was a signature design that would stand out on the skyline and would really appeal to sort of the economy of today and tomorrow, which is the information technology software. We're really trying to design a building that will attract companies that don't exist in Oakland currently, like software companies, a Google type of company, we like to say, that are green or looking for geographic centricity, proximity to their employees, and on public transit.
So it sounds like almost the Ask model, because Ask has its headquarters not too far away from the building.
Correct, yes.
So you're trying to replicate that. That's a smart approach. Question: does the building signal the end of the era where many of the major buildings in Oakland used public money?
Well, we are not interested in public money. We're interested in public support. Our thought is that Oakland is a city that, our history as a company, originally we were doing what was called urban infill, and then it became called transit-oriented development. Now it's green. You could not find a better location for the future than a downtown Oakland. And it's so well served with public transit, very rich, diverse housing. It's affordable relative to the rest of the Bay Area. It screams for quality, and the approach is to build something that is not necessarily a less expensive place, but a higher quality place to do business. A lot of what attracted us to Oakland is what attracted us initially to the South of Market, which is you have the real early movers in the real estate world, which are restaurants and art galleries. And if you look at what's going on in downtown and uptown, it's really the culinary sort of centerpiece for what's going on in the Bay Area now. Plus there's a ton of new housing that's being built downtown, which is fundamentally changing downtown. Dramatically. It's there's a lot of, there's obviously the federal buildings, state buildings there, but what you don't have is many people walking around enjoying the wonderful public places there. And we think that it's only a matter of time for that to happen. And we're trying to make it all happen sooner. Well, at this point, we're not committing to building on a speculative basis, but what we are doing is completing the drawings, and we have a robust marketing budget. And the other thing that's factoring into that decision is that Shorenstein is building T12, which is a 600,000 square foot building, on a speculative basis. And it's our feeling that for both buildings to go on the market at one time would be too much space for the city to absorb, given that's 10 or 12 million square feet in total. So we're actively spending money to further develop the drawings and complete them so that we'll be ready to start construction. And if we were to move ahead on a speculative basis, we probably wouldn't be able to start construction for approximately 12 months now anyway. So, and given the downturn in the economy, this is a good time for us to do this spade work and to actually try to really improve the public assessment or opinion of downtown Oakland, which we think is unjustly negative.
And it's headed in the right direction. My favorite restaurants is Flora. They have the best
Yes.
steaks. It's incredible.
It's a great place to eat. It's a
Yeah.
great place to walk. It's frankly, if you do the study, I mean, our investor is a large East Coast institution, and there was a lot of questions in their mind about the whole crime issue with Oakland, and we spent a lot of time studying, crime map statistics, and downtown Oakland is actually safer than downtown San Francisco.
It is. I was going to say that. Much of that is a media creation, in my view.
Well, in San Francisco, when there's a murder, or it's in Fruitvale or Hunters Point,
Right.
whereas in Oakland, it's in Oakland.
As
It doesn't
opposed
differentiate.
to, right.
Right. So, frankly, there aren't enough people downtown to create any crime. So I think a little bit more crime down there would be an indication that there's more people. No, seriously, though, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another urban center on the West Coast that provides for the opportunity from a real estate investment perspective that downtown Oakland does.
And where the building is located, for people who have never been to that area, it's really already well populated with other buildings. You have APL diagonally, you've got Marriott Courtyard next door. You have a lot of, and you have Bee's Restaurant, I think, a block away. You've got
You've got the new Trappist,
Right.
Old Town's a block away. The University of California office of the president is contiguous to behind the building. No, there's a lot there. When we started doing work in the south of Market, there was no office at all. And if you look at downtown Oakland, it's south of Market only better because you already have a pretty significant Class A office market right across the street. So it needs to go. It's less pioneering, we think, than the work we did in south of Market.
Now, if I'm a tenant or potential tenant, who do I contact about discussing terms and kind of lining myself up for the future?
We're using Colliers is our broker, Ken Meyersick and Trent Holzman. And Ken has been in downtown Oakland for, I think, close to 20 years. And they represent us. And we're ready, willing, and able to talk to somebody.
Thank you for your time, Paul.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.